just makeup. So, you know, you can take away what you want to take from it. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel, which is all about educational beauty. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 easy makeup techniques that can change your face. You can take away whichever technique you want, and I think you're going to love it. So let's head straight into the video. But before I forget, if you do like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. And you can catch me on Instagram, where you can watch me for some daily beauty news and just generally what I get up to when I'm not filming for YouTube. So let's head straight into the video. So the first technique is your concealer and contour placement. So I've already applied a little bit of concealer on my lids just to even them out because they were looking a little bit kind of like red and dark. But I'm going to go back in with my concealer, which is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. So the placement I'm going to do is basically to lift everything. So I'm going to just apply this here, and the placement of this is obviously kind of going upwards, so that's going to help to give me more of a lifted look. And I'm just going to apply some here, because you can apply it however much you want. I know some people have commented saying, do I have to apply as much concealer as you? It really is down to how much you feel you need. I can only show you what really kind of goes with my skin and what kind of coverage that I want, but you guys can pick the amount that you use. But really it's about the shaping and the technique. So it's your placement, the shape that you've created, and how you kind of blend it out as well. So we'll go into that shortly. I'm just going to go ahead and do the same on the other side. Next, I'm going to get my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. It's a slightly lighter shade and it's not as full coverage as the Tarte Shape Tape. I prefer more full coverage under here, that's why I use that there. But elsewhere on my face, I don't feel like I need as much full coverage, so that's why I go for more of a kind of lighter coverage concealer. So this is where I'm gonna now apply this into strategic places, and this is gonna really help to kind of like change your face in general. So you could apply your concealer wherever you want to apply it just for the coverage, but this is what we're doing with our concealer, you know, to kind of like help sculpt the face. Now you can see that the placement is probably different to how some of you kind of apply your concealer, and obviously again that's because we're actually using it to contour and sculpt the face. Now I really want to kind of like help to just elongate my face a little bit because it's a little bit. So this is what I'm doing to help kind of like really lengthen it. So we've got it here to kind of open up that forehead area. We've got it here, the concealer here, which is a different concealer, which gives me that coverage and that lift once I start blending. Down the nose to just kind of like, it really just kind of like brings everything together. So like I don't want to leave any specific feature out. This in itself really does help to change the face. Like I can't even begin to tell you, you'll notice the difference from before and after. And we've got a little bit of concealer here to kind of brighten that area. Again here, everything is kind of going upwards because we really want to create that lift. And then we've got this chin area here because I like to kind of like elongate my face, as I said. Now, first thing I'm going to do is actually buff in the concealer on my under eyes because I feel like that's been sitting there for long enough. And the rest of the face can wait because obviously that was the last thing that we did. So can you see I'm just like pressing in, I'm buffing. We're going to go right into the inner, kind of like on the side of the nose there, because we don't want anything to be disconnected. Can you see as I'm buffing, I'm taking it up in the same direction that I applied it? Now this is where I'm gonna just change it up a little bit. So before I start buffing this in, I'm gonna apply my darker shade contour, but I'm actually using a foundation for this. And this is where I think it's a complete game changer for you. Rather than using a concealer, if you don't want as like kind of thicker coverage, then you can go for a foundation and it blends so nicely into the skin. So I'm going for a much darker shade in this is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Lifting Foundation, and I think the shade I'm using, yeah, is 510, which is Suede. So I'm going to apply it around here because I want to kind of like slim down my face. We're going to apply a tiny bit here. This is going to help to actually lift the eye area. So you can see how we've slimmed down the face with the sculpting. So we've got it around here to slim down the forehead. We've also got it around the cheekbones to obviously give some shape there. And I've applied a little bit here, and that's going to help to lift it in turn with another technique that I use a bit later to help kind of like really lift that area. And we've got the brightness on the areas that I've already explained to elongate the face and just kind of brighten up those darker areas. I've applied it here because I really want to kind of like help to enhance my chin area a little bit. And I've got it along the jawline here. This really is down to personal preference, so it doesn't mean you go away and do the entire thing. Like, don't look at this and think, oh my God, that is just way too much for me. Like, take away the parts that you want to use. And this is just, you know, a technique that you can use if you want to kind of transform yourself a little bit. So it really is down to you. This is just, it's just makeup. So, you know, you can take away what you want to take from it. Now I'm going to start buffing this in. So I have two different Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood complexion brushes, because one I use for dark shades, one I use for light shades. Again, if you just have the one, then you can just kind of wipe it off to make sure that you don't get any color transfer, and also maybe do the light shade first and then finish off with the dark shade. So I'm going to start with the light shade, and all I'm doing is just kind of like buffing in that concealer, you know, so you just can't see the edges of it. Now you really want to kind of keep those shapes in the same place. So as you can see, I didn't really move it around too much. It really just was to kind of blur out those edges. Now I'm going to go in with the other brush and just start going over this kind of darker shade. And we're just kind of blurring the edges a little bit, not too much, you know, because we don't want to like take it all off. If you want to keep wiping the brush after on a tissue, you can, so that you don't kind of keep spreading more of this dark shade everywhere else. You will find this so much easier to blend than a concealer. Sometimes I use concealer instead of this foundation because I honestly want that extra coverage. Sometimes I use foundation because it's just so much easier, and like, I find it's much easier to get the right shade as well. Now, ideally, I want you guys to still be able to see that same shape that we created everywhere, but just without the harsh lines. So I'm going to go over with a nice foundation. I'm using the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation in Oak. I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the back of my hand. Getting a small amount, I'm not using a lot of this foundation. And this is where I'm just going to just buff it in to my skin. And you should see all of this sculpting still come through, because the foundation isn't kind of like full coverage, and I'm using a small amount. Can you see how everything is still coming through? And look at the difference, right? I mean, when I just didn't have any makeup on, and this is really kind of like sculpted my face. I think I much prefer using foundation as my contour because it just doesn't build up so much on the face. Let me just go ahead and set this. I'm using my Benai Banana Powder. I haven't used this in a while and I absolutely love this powder. So this is where I'm gonna really make sure I lift the areas that I want lifting, as well as obviously setting everything. So I really kind of go in and create those lines first, and then I go ahead and fill in the area. Now I'm gonna go in with my Real Techniques brush, just dust everything off. Next is your bronzer and blush placement. Your placement can make a huge difference in how your face looks. So I know that bronzer is usually used to kind of just give the skin more of a sun-kissed look. I like to use it as my contour. And what that means is I like to apply it in some of the places where I have probably already contoured with my kind of concealer or foundation in this case. So I'm going to apply that in not all of the areas, but some of the areas that I have already kind of sculpted, because that's where I want that really nice sun-kissed look. And I know, you know, some people may say that sun-kissed look is where the sun naturally hits the face. Really depends where you're standing. But secondly, I feel like it just gives the face more of a really nice kind of like warmth to the perimeter of the face, and I generally like it. So maybe this is something that you could incorporate into your routine that would really kind of help just change your face a little bit in a good way. I'm going to use my Hourglass powder brush. This brush is amazing, and actually this is a little bit smaller than the usual brush I use. You can see this one's a lot bigger. This is the Veil powder brush, and I think this is the ambient lighting brush. So I like both of the brushes because I feel like the brush size and the shape really fits nicely, like on the contours of the face. Now I'm going to use this side, which is more of the kind of like dome shaped brush, and I'm going to use this in certain areas to help kind of bronze my face. Now usually some people would kind of go in with a big fluff brush and just kind of go over the face with the bronzer. It doesn't mean that isn't the right way to do it. It really is down to your personal preference, but this is just something that you could try and maybe you'll like it. So I'm going to use my Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in Private Island. I've applied it to the brush here. Now this is where I'm just going to start kind of like really sculpting my face a bit more. You can already see that kind of contour coming through, but I just want to add some warmth to it now. What this is going to do, by applying my bronzer here, I'm giving my face some warmth, but I'm also adding some lift to it. So this is in turn going to really help to give me that nice kind of lifted look. So I've kind of gone from the top of the ear and just gone kind of like, almost as if I'm going towards the kind of mouth area, but I'm not going all the way in. Now I really like taking my bronzer up kind of like, almost like into the kind of eye area here, because do you remember we created that little line there? That helps to kind of like lift the eye area as well. You can already see that, right? What I'm doing is I'm kind of like enhancing everywhere that we did apply that darker contour. I really love going into the hairline because I just love that kind of warmth. You can already see what a difference. Like I'm gonna just apply this under my jawline. Okay, so moving on to blush placement, I'm going to use my MAC Melba blush. It's like a really nice kind of, just a really pale peachy pink. And I'm using my Kevyn Aucoin Neo powder brush. I absolutely love this brush. It fits perfectly on the kind of like cheekbone area. So I want to apply this right up here. So this is where your blush placement can make a massive difference to the way that your face looks. Now you could apply it here if you want more of a fuller face, like more of a fuller cheek look, or you can apply it up here if you want more of a lifted look. This is where I like to apply it because I feel like this kind of just gives me more of a youthful finish and more of a lifted look to my face. So next is my nose contour, and this is something that really can change your face because there's been times where I've gone out and I've forgotten to contour my nose, and at some point I've probably taken a picture, looked at it and thought, what is going on? There's something really different about my face. Why does it look so different? Turns out I forgot to do my nose contour and I just cannot believe how much of a big difference it makes. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Dior Backstage Powder No Powder in, this is 4N, so that's 4 neutral, and I'm using my Fenty 200 brush, which is the usual brush that I use for my nose contour. I'm going to use the tip of the brush, and this is where I'm going to kind of like enhance the contour that we did underneath with our foundation, with that dark shade foundation. So I'm going to kind of like make the tip of my nose look smaller, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to basically create almost like a V shape here, very small one. And I like this powder for nose contour sometimes. This powder is really good. I've recently started using it for my nose contour, and I feel that it's like it says, it's a powder no powder, so it's like, it doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't look heavy on the skin either, so it's perfect for contouring. It's almost like a slight diamond shape, but I'm not actually letting those two lines touch to kind of finish off that diamond shape. So that's there. And then I'm gonna just go down the side of the bridge of the nose. Now to really kind of make that nose contour pop a little bit, I'm going to use my MAC Soft and Gentle Mineralized Skin Finish, and I'm using my Zoeva 230 brush. It's just like a really thin kind of pencil brush, and I've got a little bit of that highlight on the tip of my brush, and this is where I don't like to go all the way down because I feel like that's a bit too much, but I just kind of apply a little bit here and just kind of like smooth over with my finger so it doesn't look like I've got like too much highlight there. I feel like this is just the right amount where the light hits it, and I just go like on the tip of my nose, just across a little bit, and then I kind of like take the excess off. I just don't like it when I can see highlighter that hasn't been blended. So I personally feel that that really kind of like, I feel like my nose is contoured enough, and that's how I like to kind of like change that area of my face. Now we're on to the lips. I'm gonna show you something a little bit different. So we're gonna like overline the lips a little bit to just give them that more kind of like fullness to the lip. But I'm gonna show you something that works well with it, which is quite a nice way to kind of just give that really nice depth to the lip. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna really focus on making this area here look kind of nice and plump. So this area here, we're gonna keep that the same and kind of just make sure we meet our real lip line. But we're gonna lift the lip liner above the lip line here and then take it below the lip line here. I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude and I'm just gonna like go over my lip line here just a little bit. I'm literally just going slightly above my lip line. Now I'm gonna meet my real lip line. So you can see, I've actually met my real lip line, but I've gone a little bit above on the center. That has completely changed the shape of my lip, but I like it that way. Same here. Now, we've got our lip line done, and I like the fact that I know that my lipstick is gonna kind of stay put all day, because this lip liner in particular is very, very good at making sure lipsticks don't bleed because it has more of a waxy finish. So what that means is when it's applied, it kind of stays in place. It doesn't kind of move all over the place, and it isn't easily smudged. I'm gonna very quickly add a tiny bit of lip balm. I'm using the Dior, this is the Dior, what is this? This is just the lip glow, but it's the one with no color in it, and I'm just applying it right in the center. A very small amount because I like there to be some lip balm there. I hate just applying lipstick straight. I just want my lips to stay really kind of moisturized underneath. Now this is where you can really start to almost like contour the lips, but I find that it really gives that nice fullness. So I'm gonna go and grab a brush. You can get any kind of dark cream concealer or even a dark kind of contour cream. So in a contour palette that you may have. I'm using this palette here, and this basically has a selection of different colors in there. I'm gonna use the dark shade, and it's the one that's right next to that kind of yellow shade. And I'm gonna basically apply this to my lip brush. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury lip brush, and this is where I'm just gonna kind of blend inwards. I do this on my clients sometimes because it really helps me get a really nice finish to the lip. You could do this with your lip liner, but I feel like with a cream, you could even use a really dark lipstick, that's fine as well. I feel like with a cream, it just looks more kind of natural. It doesn't look so kind of matte. You can see that it's kind of like a brown shade, especially around the outline of the lip. Now I'm gonna go into a much lighter color. So we'll go into like a fleshy color, or my kind of skin color, fleshy. We're just gonna apply this in the center. And you can use your finger for this. What's insane is that you guys saw what my lips are like before, and they didn't look anything like this. So I feel like this really goes to show how much you can really change your lip if you just apply the right kind of shades in the right places, and you can give the illusion of a much fuller look. So hopefully you can see that this really does make a difference, especially compared to my lip at the beginning. Lastly, we are on to how to finish off that kind of lifting of the face. This is something you don't have to do all together with the other 4 steps. So these are techniques that you can kind of take away whichever one you want and kind of do that. Now I'm gonna use a brush, which is the Zoeva 222 brush, and I'm gonna go into my, what is this? This is my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in medium. Okay, I've applied it on both sides of the brush, and now this is where you can apply it in certain areas to really help kind of give you that nice lifted look to completely change the shape of your face. So we're gonna just apply it here, and you'll see the powder quite obviously to begin with. Can you see that? That's insane what this does, like right there. I'm gonna do it on one side so you can really see the difference. Now I'm also gonna just kind of pinch in that nose. So I'm applying it right on the edge, like kind of on the side of the bridge, but not where I applied my contour there, just kind of next to it. And that helps to pinch the nose a little bit more. Now also, we're gonna apply it here. That is insane, right? Now, obviously we don't want those lines there because that's going to look weird. So I'm just going to kind of like take off all the excess off the brush, which I've done. And then I'm just going to kind of like blend it in so it doesn't look so harsh, but you should still be able to see a difference there. So you can still see that you've got that really nice kind of like lifted look. If you do this at the end of your usual routine, I feel like you'll really see a difference in how your kind of face looks. So I'm gonna just do this on the other side. Hopefully you've been able to see how these 5 techniques can really change your face. As you could probably tell at the beginning, I looked pretty different. I didn't have much of a lip going on and there wasn't much lifting. I look a lot more lifted now. And this works great if you use everything in combination with one another, but it also looks great if you just want to take away one of these techniques and incorporate it into your daily makeup routine. Well, I hope you've taken away loads of tips and tricks from this. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments box below. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care and I'll see you soon.